Hello and welcome into Pat's Picks. This is day 3 of Pat's Picks. So far, so good on the returns in the first 2 days, and hopefully we can keep it going. That being said, a little upsetting that there's only one game tonight. Also, I'm going to try to have these videos out early in the day going forward so more people can see them before the games come out. That being said, I'm running hot, so who knows? Maybe I'm due for a down day. That being said, it is a risky day in the betting world because this game is not exactly clear cut on who's going to win. The line's been moving. It started about minus 110 for the Bruins to win. It's now minus 130. News of Matthews not playing. I think Swayman playing also being confirmed, or likely, I should say, is a good sign too. Not to say Olmark's bad. I just think Swayman's pretty hot right now. And if a cold goalie went in Game 6, I wouldn't feel as comfortable as I would with a guy who's been very good in basically every game. I don't think he's had a bad game in this series, so no reason to turn away from him. That being said, I'm averaging a 40.32% return rate. So if you put your money on me, and if you allocated the money the way I've done it, that's what you would have gotten in a return. To give you an idea. Let's talk about the bets from last night real quick before talking about the Bruins and Leafs a little more in depth. As you can see, we'll start with the winners and we'll go over the losers. We'll start on the left with the winners here. You can kind of see top right corner, we'll say win on these screenshots. Vegas Golden Knights plus 2.5 and Edmonton moneyline. Edmonton moneyline wasn't worth betting straight up in my opinion. I thought it was worth coupling with Vegas plus 2.5 because Vegas doesn't really get blown out. They play tight games. Dallas isn't really the type of team to blow a team out either. So it seemed like coupling those two things together to juice the odds a little bit with the Edmonton money line seemed like a good move. 30 to win 56, or to pay out 56 and win 26. We then had Heiskanen, Eichel, and Wyatt Johnston to all get points. This game was a little more explosive at the beginning than I thought it was going to be, and this hit by the early second period. Comfortable 15 wagered, won about $38 there. And then on the other one, over 3.5 for Edmonton, under 3.5 for the Kings. This is about as close to this is really close to say. It ended with Edmonton 4, Kings 3. So both were half a goal away from their totals, but you take your luck. And I wouldn't even say it's lucky. I'd say Edmonton got to 4 pretty comfortably and then locked down the game. The Kings grinded a goal out, but it never really felt like this was in threat. In fact, it felt like the Edmonton should have scored another goal with the empty net, but Leon Draisaitl was taken down from behind. Penalty by the Kings with like 12 seconds left. If he didn't do that, I would have won one of my other bets I had lost, and the profit would have been even more. These we'll go down right here. I had Edmonton minus 1.5, so them to win by 2. And Connor McDavid over 1.5 points. I mentioned yesterday this was like a risky bet because minus 1.5 doesn't hit a ton in the playoffs, I've noticed. It's really hard to beat a team by multiple goals. That being said, you'll see. And then Wyatt Johnston over 3.5 points. I don't really do a ton of player props. I'm kind of dipping my toes in. That's why the numbers are typically never really above 15 for them. Just because I'm trying to read the stats, but it seems like shots, for example, are a little bit fluky. That being said, these last two things I mentioned, I have 2 of them tonight. So let's talk about the Bruins and Leafs a little. So some people are a little higher on Toronto after Game 5 and bring up how the Bruins choked a 3-1 lead last year. Very different situation. I think this Bruins team is pretty good at responding when they perform very bad. And they performed very bad in Game 5. First and second periods were terrible. Third period, I think they outplayed the Leafs. And in overtime, I think the Leafs got a little bit lucky with how the puck hit off the back of the goal into Grizzly skates and then right out to Nyes out front for the goal. You create your own luck by driving the net. Good on John Tavares. That being said, I feel like if the rest of the period was to play out, the Bruins probably would have tied it with how they were playing going into that period. That being said, I feel like, and I'm not trying to discredit the Leafs here, but I don't think they did anything that special to make me think that if the Bruins show up, the Leafs are going to beat them. The Leafs have scored more than 2 goals in one game in this series, and the Bruins offense just looked lethargic on Game 5, and they're really good at bouncing back from bad games. Austin Matthews isn't playing tonight. Joseph Woll is probably going to be tested a lot more than he was in Game 5. On top of that, the Leafs do not play good in the playoffs at home. I don't know if it's just the atmosphere or the anxiety, the pressure that is put on performing in front of their fans in the silent library that is the Air Canada Centre, or Scotiabank Arena now. My bad. I'm not old enough to be saying that. What am I doing? But regardless, it's just one of those things. The Leafs, they played well in the first and second period. I kind of thought it was more so because the Bruins came out flat, more so than the Leafs came out buzzing. They probably should have had more goals in the first and second period than they did, but they couldn't capitalize. Their scoring touch is not good. Their power play has not been good, and they really need to figure out that power play. Now, that being said, it kind of influences a few of my bets. So let's talk about just my bets. I'm on the Bruins tonight. I think that the line movement suggests that a lot of people are probably betting on the Bruins tonight. Austin Matthews' injury, him being out, it's kind of one of those things you're struggling to score your 70 goal scorers out of the lineup. They don't have a lot of guys who can finish. That being said, they have guys who can play well. So it's not going to be like the most shocking thing if they come out here and score 3 goals. If they score more than 3, I'd be pretty shocked. But I think the Bruins offense is due to have a pickup game. And I'm picking the Bruins to win. I have David Pastrnak over 3.5 shots on goal. To give you an idea, the last few games, David Pastrnak for shots has gone 4-4, 1-3. So he's actually been more active the last 2 games in shooting than he had the first 3 games in the series. He also has gone without a goal. He goes every other game so far this series. He didn't have one in game 1, had one in game 2, didn't have one in game 3, had one in game 4, didn't have one in game 5. Is he going to have one in game 6? He's a very good goal scorer. He's probably going to pop up and score a goal. He's got 37 and 82 playoff games, so it's kind of going with the pace of his career. He's got 83 points in 82 playoff games, just to give you an idea as well. And I feel like he's due for a goal in this one. And he's due kind of to have a big game. He hasn't had a multi-point game this series. And if the Bruins offense can control the play a bit more than they did in the last game, he could have a multi-point game. I also have Brad Marchand over a point. Both games in Toronto, he did very well, so I'm kind of going off what they did in Toronto. So I feel like Marchand and the Bruins money line just together would have been good. I'm just kind of thinking David Pastrnak's been a little too quiet for my liking, so I'm putting him in here. And I did $10 on the Bruins to win by a goal and a half. I felt like plus 200 wasn't terrible odds for this, and sometimes you find in elimination games when teams start to lose hope, sometimes the teams can kind of run up the score. In the empty net situation, some teams just keep pulling the goalie even when they're down by like 2. So it wouldn't shock me if the Bruins are leading in the third period if they get an empty netter. It happened in the Colorado game versus Winnipeg. It wouldn't shock me if it happens here, but the Bruins have to win. So it's kind of doubling down here with $30 purely on the Bruins winning. If the Bruins don't win, this is all out the window. But that being said, I'm kind of playing with house money considering I'm $80 up. Not the end of the world. I literally bet less than I profited tonight. So I'm still going to be in the green overall tomorrow, regardless of what happens here. But it's one of those games. It is a tough one to call. I'm feeling good about the Bruins, though. And let's look at prop bets because I kind of need to give them their own slide. So I got 2 Leafs bets that involve shots, and I have David Pastrnak, an anytime goal scorer. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said the DraftKings boost wasn't part of the reason I did this. But like I said, David Pastrnak scores every other game in the playoffs in his career. He's due for a big game. I think at plus 115, I probably would have put probably 10 to 20 bucks on that as well, just because I was kind of thinking about it. The DraftKings bonus does help though. And remember, you take what the books give you. I see the bonus that give me plus 100 more odds. That's getting included. I wagered 25. If I win, I'm going to count it the same. You take what the books give. So that's just one thing I'm playing. I would recommend that if you're cheering for the Bruins. If you're not cheering for the Bruins, maybe not, because anytime goal scorer can be fluky. But at the end of the day, it's Pastrnak. So you're calling that one. I'm feeling that one, though. And then on the other side, I have Morgan Riley overshots and Nick Robertson undershots. Now, let's explain the under, because a lot of people do not like betting under for shot totals, but there's probably more value in betting unders than there is in overs. Now, Nick Robertson in the last 4 games has gone 7 minutes and 21 seconds on the ice, 9:42, 10:55 in game 4, and then 9:34 in game 5. He had no shots last game, 1 the game before, 2 the game in game 3, 3 in game 2, 3 in game 1. So his production with shots has slowly, gradually decreased throughout this series. His ice time is a bit concerning. The fact they're at home in both home games, he had 2 and 1, and then he had 0, kind of makes me think that he's not going to get the same opportunities that he got, and that he might be a part of the Leafs' offense getting beaten down over time and just not being able to score. It seems like he's fallen into that. And he hasn't been shooting as of late. He probably needs to start shooting. But just because of his concerns with ice time and the fact that he's gone the last 2 games of not hitting this 1.5 mark, I thought I would throw $10 on it. Morgan Riley. This one, I think, is kind of impacted by Austin Matthews not being in the lineup. Last game, Austin Matthews not in the lineup. Morgan Riley had 5 shots on goal. The game before, 3. The game before that, 3. The game before that, 3. Game 1 of the series is the only time he didn't hit this, and he had 1 shot on goal. I think Morgan Riley hits this, and I think it has to do with Austin Matthews being out, because on the power play, I feel like Morgan Riley is more likely to tee up a shot than if he has Austin Matthews to his side. The Leafs power play is not good. Pucks in the net are good. I think Morgan Riley is a smart enough player to realize if he throws it at the net, good things could happen. So I expect Morgan Riley to probably be shooting more tonight as well. I'd be surprised if that one didn't hit. That would probably be the prop I recommend the most, is Morgan Riley. And you get it almost even money. So if you put 10, you're almost getting 10, to give you an idea. So those are my 5 bets tonight. I've been good as of late. It will be interesting, though, to see if the Leafs can force a Game 7. If the Leafs force a Game 7, I probably will still bet on the Bruins for Game 7, just because home ice at TD Garden, I feel like that would be a very big boost of energy. That being said, the Bruins lost Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in 2019 on home ice, so what do I know? What do I know? Hit like, hit subscribe, follow my journey. If you follow my bets, don't come crying to me if you lose. This is my own journey. I'm just here to tell you my thoughts and my picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.